5,000 meters beneath the Atlantic Ocean, where sunlight never dared to reach, lies the steel corpse of a submarine that vanished in silence. A submarine loaded not with soldiers alone, but with gold. Pure gold, 2 tons, sealed in metal canisters, meant to change the outcome of a dying war. And yet, it never arrived. For half a century, no one knew where she rested. No grave, no wreckage, no survivors. Only a whispered legend that somewhere in the black water, a Japanese submarine slept, still carrying her treasure. This is the story of the submarine the world called the Gold Sub, the Japanese Submarine 52. By late 1943, Japan was losing a war it once believed it could never lose. Across the Pacific, Guadalcanal, Tarawa, Saipan, the empire was bleeding. Aircraft carriers that once ruled the ocean now lay at the bottom of it. Factories at home struggled. Oil reserves fell towards zero. A nation built on expansion suddenly found itself collapsing inward, starving for fuel and technology. Across the world, Germany was no better. Allied bombers turned cities to ash. Industrial powerhouses, Hamburg, Essen, Cologne, were reduced to charred ruins. U-boats that once terrorized the Atlantic now hunted like cornered animals. Germany needed raw materials. Japan needed technology. And so in the shadows, two empires forged a desperate pact. It was not a friendship, it was survival. Secret missions, known as Yanagi voyages, began crossing oceans in silence. Submarines sailed halfway around the world to exchange gold and rare metals for German radar, torpedo systems, and weapons designs. Each voyage risked everything. British intelligence, American codebreakers, and hunter-killer groups sought them relentlessly. Most missions never returned. But one would carry the highest stakes of all, a submarine built not to attack, but to cross oceans unseen, carrying gold, enough to buy the technology Japan believed might still save its empire. Her name was I-52. Inside Japanese shipyards, engineers built a massive submarine, one of the largest Japan ever launched, 356 feet of pressure-hardened steel, enough fuel to cross the world and return. Compartments not for torpedoes, but for crates, machinery, and secret cargo. She was a cargo submarine disguised as a warship. Below decks, young sailors prepared for a journey nearly no one expected to survive. Some wrote final letters. Some took photographs with families, believing they would return as heroes. Others understood quietly that this was a one-way voyage, but orders were orders, and the empire demanded sacrifice. Before departure, Shinto priests blessed the crew. Families bowed, unaware they were saying their last goodbyes. The dock fell silent, and then, slowly, I-52 slipped beneath the waves and disappeared into the ocean, carrying the most valuable cargo of World War II. Inside sealed black cylinders, hidden deep within the submarine's hull, lay 2.2 tons of pure gold, today worth more than $100 million. But in 1944, that gold was priceless. It was Japan's final bargaining chip. Payment for radar that could detect American bombers, payment for torpedo guidance technology, payment for the tools of survival. If I-52 reached Germany, the war might shift. If she fell, Japan lost her last hope. On June 10, 1944, I-52 sailed into the Indian Ocean. Her orders were clear: avoid radio transmissions, travel alone, no escorts, no surface time unless necessary. She carried not just gold, she carried secrets, Japanese intelligence, military codes, even samples of strategic metals. Everything Germany demanded. For weeks, she sailed beneath heat in moonless nights, far from shipping lanes. Crewmen whispered prayers into the dark. Some believed God traveled with them. Others trusted only the sea. Inside steel corridors, the air tasted of diesel and rust. Days blurred into nights. The ocean became their world. But while I-52 crossed warm waters, history shifted elsewhere. On June 6th, just days before, the Allies landed in Normandy. D-Day, the greatest invasion in history, a fatal wound to Hitler's dream. Germany began losing a war that could no longer be won, but the Japanese submarine deep under the sea did not know. War moved, but she kept sailing. Ahead lay the most dangerous ocean on Earth, the Atlantic, a place once ruled by U-boats, but now patrolled by long-range aircraft. Radar filled the skies. Sonar scanned the deep. The Atlantic had turned from a highway into a graveyard. Still, the mission continued. Near the mid-Atlantic, I-52 prepared for a secret meeting. The plan was precise. Rendezvous with German submarine U-530. Under darkness, transfer German technicians, Enigma communications equipment, and escort 452 to occupied France. On the night of June 22nd, I-52 surfaced into a sea of blackness. She waited, by the book, by the hour. The crew watched the horizon, hoping to see another submarine emerge from the night, but the ocean remained silent. To locate the Germans, I-52 sent a radio signal. Just one message, one fatal whisper into the darkness. And somewhere thousands of kilometers away, men wearing headphones leaned closer and listened. American codebreakers intercepted the message instantly. Unknown to Japan, the United States had broken Japanese naval codes 2 years earlier, the same codes that helped win the Battle of Midway. Japan never knew. And now the Allies possessed the most valuable intelligence of the war, the exact location of a submarine carrying gold. The Americans made a decision. I-52 must never reach Germany. Orders went straight to the Hunter-Killer Task Group centered around the escort carrier USS Bogue, one of the most dangerous submarine hunters in the Atlantic. On board were Avenger aircraft equipped with a new secret weapon, acoustic torpedoes capable of tracking a submarine by sound alone. War had entered the age of technology, and I-52 sailed blind into it. Just before midnight, American radar detected something beneath the surface, a faint echo, a steel shadow moving through water. The Avengers turned toward it, searching the darkness. Pilots scanned the waves with infrared detection. Every passing second tightened the net around the submarine that had no idea death was above her. Inside I-52, the crew felt the tremor of an aircraft passing overhead. They dove deeper, silent running, lights dimmed, engines quiet. The ocean swallowed them whole. But tracking no longer depended on eyesight, it depended on sound. American aircraft dropped an acoustic torpedo, nicknamed Fido, a weapon from the future, designed not to miss. The torpedo entered the deep, listening for propellers, guiding itself toward the submarine hiding far below. Inside the steel hull of OIRM-52, men listened in confusion. A strange humming grew louder, a vibration in the water, something approaching, something alive. And then, impact. A violent explosion tore through the submarine. Bulkheads ruptured. Compartments flooded instantly. Darkness swallowed every corridor. Within seconds, 94 men vanished into the sea. No distress call, no survivors, only silence. Above, American aircraft saw oil rising to the surface. Their mission was complete. I-52 was gone. For months, no official word reached anyone. Germany waited for a submarine that would never arrive. Japan believed she was delayed. Families waited for letters that would never come. The empire never revealed the truth. The crew was simply missing. And with them vanished the gold. Rumors began. Fishermen spoke of treasure lost in deep water. Divers dreamed of finding it. Newspapers printed legends. Historians whispered. Was it real? Was it myth? The world did not know, because the ocean kept its secrets for 50 long years. Then in 1995, a deep-sea search expedition began scanning the Atlantic. Months of sonar mapping searched for a shape, a steel hull resting on the ocean floor. Nothing for weeks, nothing for months. The sea hid everything behind darkness, until something appeared. A long shadow drawn on sonar, a shape too large to be rock, a shape broken in two. At a depth of nearly 17,000 feet, a submarine stood silently on the bottom of the Atlantic. Robotic cameras descended into blackness. Slowly, the lights fell upon twisted steel, Japanese markings, and crushed compartments. Then the cameras entered a cargo section. There stood cylindrical objects, black metal canisters, exactly as described in wartime records, containers built to hold gold. still sealed, untouched by time. After 50 years, the gold of the year 52 was found, but the sea did not give it back. Legal battles rose. Who owned the gold? Japan? Germany? The United States? International maritime law complicated everything. The wreck remained untouched, declared a war grave, holding not treasure alone, but the remains of 94 men who still lie within its steel tomb. To this day, the gold sleeps underwater. It is easy to speak of gold, but harder to speak of the men. Young sailors who believed they would return home. Men who dreamed of land, of families, of futures stolen by war. Their letters never sent, their voices preserved only in memories that faded as time moved on. Their final moments, alone, deep under the ocean, belong only to the sea now. I-52 was more than a submarine. She was the symbol of a desperate alliance between two collapsing empires, a last gamble on technology, a voyage built upon secrecy and fear, and a reminder that war does not end with the last bullet, but with the last forgotten life. In the end, technology sank her, and technology found her again. And now in the silent darkness where pressure bends steel like paper, I-52 sleeps. Gold sealed inside her, memories sealed with it. The ocean holds history in ways humanity cannot. Beneath unimaginable pressure, deeper than light, colder than steel itself, lies a submarine carrying the weight of a vanished empire. The wreck will rust, her steel will crumble, but deep inside the gold remains untouched, a silent monument to a mission that was never meant to return, a reminder that even the greatest secrets eventually rise from the dark.